What is good, YouTube? It's your boy MattOshea coming at you guys with our week 9 team builder slash battle for the IBL. This week we take on MattOshea and his Montreal Milotics. At the time of recording this battle, if you did not catch our last week battle, definitely make sure to go catch that. It will be in the description down below. But yeah, guys, we took the dub last week. We took a very nice dub, 3-0 dub against Hagbones on his Vancouver Kyogres, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. Pretty good battle, so make sure to go check that out, guys. So we are sitting at 4-4, and Matt is sitting at 5-3, if I'm not mistaken. So if we beat him, he'll have a 5-4 record, and we'll have a 5-4 record, which is actually pretty good because we're actually fighting for that last spot in playoffs right now. So as always, guys, timestamp should be on your screen about now. And yeah, you guys can go ahead and skip to the battle portion of this video if you guys want to skip this team builder portion of the battle. But nevertheless, let's go ahead and hop right into it. You guys can see his team right there. It consists of the GMAX Gengar. Wait, actually, I'm putting up his team. I just remember he had Gengar, Noivern, Excadrill, Vaporeon. What else did he have? Let me see. So it's Gengar, GMAX, Noivern, Excadrill, Vaporeon, Greedent/Greedance, Weezing, Galar, Boltund, Raboot, Girder, Orbeetle, and Tyranitar. So Matt actually took over for a team recently. He made a bunch of changes, beefed up his team. So we're going to go ahead and try to match that energy and have a good battle this week. So the big six is what I'm expecting. GMAX Gengar is pretty good against my team with 4 moves. Even like a nasty plot set could be pretty good. Something like sub to dodge a couple sucker punches from some of my mons. Next, we have the Noivern, which is a super fast mon. I'm expecting it to be either Choice Scarf or Choice Specs this game. Choice Specs, Hurricane, and Draco hit my team super hard. So definitely have to be a little bit worried about that. Excadrill is so versatile. Can come any type of way. Focus Sash Lead with rocks. It could be Mold Breaker to hit my Rotom Heat. It could be Choice Banded, which could be pretty bad. It could be just a Sand Rush set. So we definitely have to keep our eyes open for that one. Vaporeon, which I expect him to come, it is his basically free switch, so I don't spam Choice Spec Scald with Primarina. Also very good because I do have 2 fire types on my team in Rotom Heat and Darmanitan, and I feel it does a pretty good job in checking it. Greedent, just because it is a very bulky mon that could stop me from spamming Shadow Ball as easily with my Dragapult, which is pretty spammable against his team. Besides, of course, the AV Tyranitar if he wants to bring like something like that. And then Galar Weezing just there as a good defensive mon to take hits from like my Darmanitan. It stops a couple of my it doesn't stop the Durants, but it does an alright job at checking a couple of other mons, so I do expect that to come. The Boltund, which is a super fast mon, could come as well. Could see that interchangeable with the Greedent or the Weezing. I'm feeling really confident in the first 4, but the last 2 I'm not feeling too confident in. Raboot, Girder, Orbeetle, and Tyranitar. I could see him maybe wanting to bring Orbeetle to get up webs, but I really don't think webs are too good against me since I do have the clear body ability on my Dragapult. And then something like Tyranitar I could see coming as well, just being AV to stop some of my special mons like the Orbeetle, like the Rotom Heat, like the Dragapult if I want to bring that special. So we're gonna go ahead and dive right into our team here. First off, we got my boy Mudsdale here, aka Troy. So Troy's gonna be rocking the Leftovers ability this week. His spread is gonna be very basic this week. It's just 252 HP, 252 defense. This thing is my main check to things like his Tyranitar. Could be a check to Excadrill if we needed to. Good check to, we can eat a hit from the Noivern. It's a perfect check to the Boltund, to the Raboot, to the Girder. So definitely a good defensive pivot that we could use here. Its moves are going to be basic. You know me, I love my Rest Sleep Talk, Earthquake, Heavy Slam, pretty much hitting most of his team. The only mons that I think can really hits from this is the Orbeetle and the Noivern. The Noivern takes about 20 to 30 still with the Heavy Slam. So that is our Troy set this week. Next, we're going to go ahead and dive into our next set, which is going to be Dizzy Bum. I don't have any nicknames on just this guy. Dizzy Bum is a nickname, but we got him with the Figgy Berry this week. Very good mon with the Intimidate ability right there. You guys see it. Its spread this week is going to be 252 HP, 140 attack, 100 defense, 4 speed def, and 4 speed with an impish nature. So this thing is a pretty good defensive pivot into his mons. Basically just Excadrill. Excadrill and Greedent if he wants to try to get up a belly drum. This thing also does pretty good at checking the girder as well. We can go ahead and lower its defense and the Tyranitar. So this thing can actually 2-hit KO a max HP Tyranitar with the Chopple Berry with its Mach Punch. So that's what the attack investment is there for. We do have Rapid Spin, Mach Punch, Close Combat, and the Toxic. This thing does leave a little bit of leeway for things like his Gengar, things like his Noivern to always come in on it. But once we've conditioned him to think that we're going to keep clicking Close Combat or whatever we click, we can go ahead and hit Toxic, get off a big Toxic on things like the Noivern, like the Vaporeon, like a Weezing. Actually, Weezing can't get Toxic, but like an Orbeetle if he wants to come in, stuff like that. So I felt Toxic was very good to have on this set. Next, we're going to go ahead and have my boy Scorpio, the Drapion, being my only switch into GMAX Gengar, so I had to bring it. Rocking the Battle Armor ability this week and the AV Battle Armor so that we don't get crit. AV just so we can eat a couple of those special hits. Our moveset this week is going to be Brick Break, Knock Off, Poison Jab, and Earthquake. Knock Off and Poison Jab there for dual stab. Earthquake's there for the Gengar. Brick Break's there for the Tyranitar. Pretty self-explanatory. This thing does have enough speed so that after webs we do outspeed max speed Gengar. And yeah, that's pretty much what Drapion is here to do. Just check the Gengar mostly. If we can get rid of the Gengar, we can use this to check the Noivern. Next, we have Choice Specs Melody right here, being an absolute unit. This thing picks up kills every game I bring a Choice Spec, so I had to do it again. This week's spread is pretty basic, just 252 special attack, 252 speed with 4 def. Basically because this thing at max speed, it does actually outspeed Bolton by 1 point, if I'm not mistaken. I think that's what the speed investment on Primarina is. Let me go ahead and double check that real quick. I believe it should be for that. Yes. Yes. So we outspeed enough a Bolton outspeeding a max speed Swoobat. So if he tries to speed creep appropriately, which would be his Bolton trying to speed creep my my Swoobat, we do outspeed that. That's what the speed creep is there for. Max speed, max special attack, just to hit the hardest. This week we're rocking Scald, Hydro Pump, Moonblast, and Psychic. Scald and Moonblast do a number on his team. Hydro Pump is there if I just want to click it and claim a kill. Psychic is there for the Gengar. Pretty much we can kill it in GMAX form, which is super. Actually, we do 76 to 98, I think, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, that's Melody there. Next, we got our win con this game, which is going to be my girl Daenerys, rocking the Cobra Berry, Jolly Nature with the clear body. So this thing's spread is going to be 116 HP, 188 attack, and 204 speed. We have enough speed so that we basically outspeed his whole team. We outspeed a +1 Tyranitar that is Jolly, and we also outspeed Excadrill in the sand as well. So that's super clutch for us, you know, being able to outspeed that thing. We do, if we get up a Dragon Dance, we do pretty much 2-hit KO his whole team with Phantom Force and Dragon Darts, which is actually what we have right there, sorry. But yeah guys, Dual Stab is really good against his team. Psychic Fangs is there just so we can do a little bit more damage to the Galar or Weezing if we need to. We're never staying in on that thing, but it does do about, I think, 43 to 57, so we should be okay there. And then lastly, we're going to go ahead and bring our GMAX Orbeetle here, rocking the Cassie Berry so that we don't take a Shadow Ball from the Gengar. If need be, we can. You know, this week we're rocking 212 HP, 148 special attack, and 148 speed. So again, the speed tier is there so that we could outspeed Gengar after the webs for sure. And then the special attack there is just to hit as hard as we can with the Modest Nature. We got Sticky Web, Psychic, Bug Buzz, and Energy Ball. So if we can get up webs against his team, it's pretty good. We don't need them, but it's nice, you know, to slow down things like the Gengar, like the Excadrill, like the Bolton, like the Tyranitar if need be. So yeah guys, that's the 6 that we're gonna go ahead and go to war with, and I'll be right back at you guys with the battle. Alrighty guys, and we are right back with the battle, and we are about to go ahead and see the 6 that my opponent brought. He said have fun. I'm gonna say have fun, good luck. And then let's see the 6 that he brought. So he brings Ooh, no Noivern, which is great to see actually. Okay, so he does bring the Sandcore, which is gonna be his Tyranitar and Excadrill. He brings Vaporeon, no Greedent, which is good to see as well. He does bring the Orbeetle, and then the Wheezing Galar as well. So Mudsdale is going to be putting in a lot of work this game. So is the Hitmontop. Yeah, that actually looks really good. Okay, so I think I'm gonna lead Orbeetle here, or Yeetle. Let me see, Orbeetle. Does Orbeetle do alright? Because I can see him leading like Excadrill. If he leads Excadrill, that could be a problem actually. Or Orbeetle, right? I pretty much have a switch into all his offense. I kind of mind leaning Drapion just in case he leads Orbeetle. Try to get up webs. I don't mind that play actually. Let's go ahead and do that. Make sure to go check out my opponent's channel as well to see his side of the battle. I think this is a bad lead, to be honest. I'm a little tilted right now, guys. I just found out I missed like a little graduation ceremony they were doing at my school, like a little parade thing. So kind of sad, unfortunately. Things do happen. You forget stuff, you know, with life and all that going on. But let's try to get our head into the battle here, and let's see what he ends up leading off with here. I could see him leading off with Excadrill, trying to get up his rocks, maybe even Tyranitar. So if he does lead Tyranitar, this black screen's taking a while. Hopefully we can get into the game. If he leads like Tyranitar, if it's like a Stealth Rock lead, there we go. He does need Tyranitar, okay. Oh no. Okay, so he does lead this. Brick Break is still doing half. And if he has Earthquake, what's that doing to me? Earthquake's doing a lot to me. I don't need this damage on my Drapion, so I'm probably just going to go ahead and go straight into my Mudsdale here. Yeah, because we need this for... Oh, actually, I could go into this, but I think Troy is the safer bet here. And we can go ahead and see what kind of set he is. I'm going to be using Troy and Dizzy Bum kind of intertwined. Yeah, because the max he can do to me is like 20%. I'm pretty sure he's just going to want to get up his rocks here. And actually, now that I think about it, I don't think he has a ground resist. He didn't bring a ground resist, so Earthquake is pretty free against this team. No Girder, no Bolton. It's pretty good to see too. As he does just get up his rocks. Okay. So that shouldn't be a problem. We can spin him away pretty easily. And I don't think he has a ground resist, right? Oh man, this battle's lagging. I hope it's okay throughout the whole thing. I'm asking if he's lagging a lot too. This time it's not my Elgato, guys. Not my Elgato. I think there's just a lot of people on the server that we're playing on right now. Okay. Let's see. Oh, I think we got disconnected. Alrighty guys, so we actually ended up getting disconnected, and when I recorded my game, I actually didn't hit record on my OBS, so big ol' F in the chats if you guys feel me on that. But guys, I'm gonna go ahead and post-com this video for you. I did not make edits like I usually do to my post-coms, unfortunately, so this one might be a little bit lagging in between turns and stuff like that, but we're gonna rock with it all together because it's actually my first time watching the battle again since I battled, so I might forget some moves and stuff like that, but just really pressed on time. Well, you can see my closet. Oh, you can see my closet. Oh, sorry, it's kind of messy in there. But anyways guys, the game is gonna continue the same way it started out. I let it off with my Drapion, hit it off with this Tyranitar. I went ahead and made the switch right into my Mudsdale, and then after that, you guys didn't see that part, but what happened was my Mudsdale went for Earthquake on the Tyranitar as it switched out into the Orbeetle, which ate the hit very well. You guys didn't see that part, but that's basically where the battle left off. We'll go ahead and catch up to it right here on the game. Unfortunately, Like I said, guys, I didn't get to record it, so this one will be post-com, but nevertheless, it was a great battle. So let's stick around and see what happened. So I'm gonna go ahead and go for Earthquake here, as I don't know why he took so long during these turns of recreating, but it's all good, you know. I bet you he was just explaining stuff on his side as well. So he's gonna go ahead and switch into Orbital, like I said, which has the Frisk ability. So he's gonna go ahead and find out that we're lefties, and I'm gonna go for the EQ here, and you guys can see he ate this. So this gave the information to me that he was very bulky, kind of like max HP. Now I know this turn will lag a little bit because this is in the video where I thought I was explaining everything that happened and catching up to the battle and all that good stuff, but nevertheless, here guys, I am gonna go ahead and contemplate making the switch into something like my Premium Arena. I doubt he has the energy ball, so I'm not really scared. I kind of want to go into Scorpio as well, but I know Scorpio is my only check to the Gengar at the moment, so kind of don't want to risk it. Nevertheless, we say YOLO and we go ahead and bring it in here, as he's going to think about what he wants to do. I'm predicting like him to want to either go for an energy ball if he has it, or sticky webs. Sticky webs could be really annoying for my team, even though he does have Sand Rush, Excadrill. You know, it could still lower down the speed for things like his Tyranitar or even his Weezing Galar. He's going to go ahead and actually pop out the Iron Defense, which took me for surprise because I wasn't really expecting that at all. So now for sure I know it'll live any type of move I want to go for with this Drapion, whether it be knockoff, whether it be something else that we have like the Earthquake. But nevertheless, I'm gonna go ahead and hit knockoff, just try to knock off these things item. I'm trying to figure out what set he is. I'm kind of thinking stored power at first, you know, Iron Defense, Calm Mind, stored power, because unfortunately this is my only dark type. So but it can, you know, essentially do something else. So Calm Mind's here, so in my head I'm just kind of very confused, thinking why is he setting up on the dark type mon. You know, he probably has recover and then psychic in the back, so he's not gonna be able to touch me. So this whole time I'm kind of like, okay, well, let's try to weaken down this thing as much as we can. I was kind of thinking about making a switch into my Primarina, like I was saying earlier, or my Dragapult, just so that I can threaten this thing out with a very powerful Shadow Ball. Even if he wants to go ahead and click recover here, you know, Dragapult can still put in the work. But nevertheless, we knock off here and it only does about 10%, and he baton passes out of here, man. My man MattOshea bringing the heat, and he went ahead and baton passed. So he has an Iron Defense boost and he has Calm Mind boost, so special attack and special defense. So here I'm thinking what he wants to switch it into. At first I was thinking Excadrill, but then I was thinking, why would he click Calm Mind if he wanted to go Excadrill? So he actually goes ahead and brings in his Gengar. So man, I was really terrified at this point in the battle. You know, I was thinking I am a pretty special defensive, you know, I can take any hit from this thing, even at +1. So I was making a couple calcs right here, checking how much, because the most powerful move Gengar can hit us with is Focus Blast. So max fighting would be the most powerful move that he can hit us with. So at +1 we did take one, so I was like, you know what, let's go ahead and knock off these things item, just in case it's something like Cobra, in case it's something like, you know, weakness policy or something. But he goes ahead and hypnosises, he blind hypnosises, and he's blunder policy. This man is wild. This man is wild. But we're gonna go ahead and knock him off. It's not gonna do that much because he did get blunder policy. So now he's at +2 speed, +1 Spadef and special attack, and he is at +2 defense. So here I'm just gonna go ahead, and I believe I clicked Earthquake if I'm not mistaken, because Earthquake was doing a little bit more damage if he didn't have the since he didn't have an item on him, since he was blunder policy. So at this point in the battle, I'm pretty scared. I'm kind of thinking, okay, well, I need to whittle this thing down enough to the point where I can go ahead and try to bring in my Orbital and maybe Shadow Ball. We are Kasi Berry this week, so we will live at least one Max Phantasm as he goes ahead and Focus Blast. And as you guys can see, it does maybe half, like not even half of where we were at, about 60 points of damage. And we're gonna hit him with the Earthquake, which does big damage. So I'm thinking here he's probably gonna want a GMAX or switch out to try to save his GMAX. So I'm just gonna go ahead and knock off. You know, knock off is probably my best play if he does want to go ahead and switch out, maybe save this, or if he has baton pass himself and he wants to switch into something else, you know, keep it going. I don't even know what to expect at this point in the battle, but he goes ahead and GMAX is here, and I think GMAX Gengar looks so dope. But he's gonna go ahead and stick his tongue out me, and then we're gonna go ahead and try to eat this GMAX terror, as we actually live on 10, man. That is super crazy and super great for us, because we actually go ahead and stall out another turn of this Dynamax and get a little bit more chip on it. But we're gonna go ahead and let this threat of a Gengar go down. Thankfully, we were able to stall it out a little bit with the Drapion, and Drapion was able to eat a lot of hits. So hey, big shout out to my man Drapion. And as you guys can see too, the battle is kind of laggy, so I do apologize for that. I'll try to have that fixed next week. I'm not sure why my Elgato app likes to lag sometimes it doesn't, so my laptop can't handle OBS and all that. But like I said, guys, we're gonna go ahead and bring in our Megamind. I do see that he went for GMAX, the poison, what is that called, GMAX sludge, something like that, whatever. He went for the GMAX sludge. He went ahead and got another special attack boost. So now this, or GMAX ooze, that's what's called, DMAX ooze, or whatever it's called. He's gonna go ahead and get that +2 in special attack. So that had me kind of scared when I brought in my Orbeetle, but I did see that he actually did more damage with the Max ooze than he did with the GMAX terror. So, but knowing him, he didn't know I'm Kasi Berry, so he's probably going to go for the GMAX Terror, and it's going to do less. So that was something. I think GMAX Terror did about like 60-something%, and then the Ooze did like 70 to 80. So we lived any hit regardless though. So we're going to go ahead and GMAX on him right here. Yep, big ET. And then we're going to go ahead and launch off. I believe we decided to go for the Max Overgrowth. Actually, we went for the Max Guard. Sorry, so I wanted to stall out his last turn of Dynamax. Completely got lost. We want to go ahead and stall out his last turn of Dynamax, so we actually went for the Max Guard here. So he goes back to little Gengar, and then now we're gonna go ahead. I was calcing. I figured like my best bet is probably going for Max Overgrowth, because if I go for the Gravitas, he might want to switch into Tyranitar to eat the hit. So, you know, maybe save his Gengar for the end. I didn't have any hazards up, and he actually is gonna go for stay in and go for Shadow Ball, but luckily we are Kasi Berry, and I saw from this range that Max Overgrowth does kill little Gengar even at +1 Spadef. So we're gonna go ahead and launch off the Max Overgrowth, and we're gonna boom knock him out with those big mushrooms right there. Have him all shroomed out, and yeah, we get up the grassy terrain, which kind of helps the Tyranitar from the Mudsdale, and I realized that right when I used the move, but I couldn't afford him trying to switch in his Tyranitar and taking that last turn of that second turn of GMAX away from me. So thankfully that Max Overgrowth killed. I think it was a roll. It looked like he was about 15 to 17%, but I think it did about 18 to 23 to a regular Gengar at +1, if I'm not mistaken, the Max Overgrowth. So thankfully we are Max Special Attack modest this week, and we do knock out the Gengar. Here I'm contemplating about what he would want to go into himself. I do see that he has the Excadrill that he can go into. It could possibly Rock Slide. It has a chance to knock me out from this range if he is Adamant Life Orbed. You know, he could go into something like his Tyranitar to try to eat the Bug Buzz in the Sandstorm, and try to knock us out with the Crunch in return. So those were my two kind of thoughts that he was going to go into. I know he didn't want to risk the Rock Slide miss with his Excadrill, so I figured he didn't want to go into that, as he does decide to go right into the Tyranitar. So here I'm calculating what does more, like a Max Overgrowth or like a Max Flutterby. It actually shows that Max Flutterby does more damage even in grassy terrain, which is pretty crazy, because that's a super effective move. But nevertheless, I guess Stab does more, and Bug Buzz is super effective as well. So we're gonna go ahead and just click Bug Buzz here. I was scared that he was gonna try to switch into the you know, the Weezing Galar to eat the Bug Buzz, because it only did about 11% to Weezing, I think, if I'm not mistaken. So I was figuring, should I go for Max Overgrowth again just to be safe? But nah, I decided to go for Max Flutterby. Either way, I figured it gave us minus special attack on the Weezing if he did want to bring it in. But we're gonna go ahead and weaken this thing down, and he goes for Crunch as we actually live. Let's go. Orbeetle lives, and we live the Sandstorm, thankfully, as we'll get that grassy terrain, and he'll get it as well. So here I think I made a big misplay in the battle. Spoilers. And I went for Sticky Web. I actually think that going for Bug Buzz this turn was a little bit better, just to get a little bit more chip off on this Reptar, just in case he was like Chople Berry, and we can knock him out with the Mach Punch from the Hitmontop, you know. So I definitely feel like that was a big misplay on my end, but it's all good, you know, things happen. things change, you know. But we go for Sticky Web just to try to slow down that extra drill for our end game with the Dragon Pole, as he's going to go for Crunch and he's going to go ahead and knock us straight out. So at this point, I believe the score is 5-5. His Gengar is dead and my Drapion is dead. Oh, it's actually 4-5. Yeah, because my Scorpio and my Orbeetle are dead and only his Gengar is dead. So like I said, guys, we're gonna go ahead and get off that Intimidate here. He does have up rocks, which is very annoying for my side of the field, so I'm just gonna go ahead and Rapid Spin here, get rid of those rocks. We don't need them on our side. I really don't want to be taking that unnecessary chip on things like the Primarina, on things like my Hitmontop, which needs to switch in a lot to get off those Intimidates on the Excadrill, on the Tyranitar. We're gonna go ahead and Rapid Spin here, as it does about 10% to the Weezing Galar. Now this thing is a threat. I have no switch-ins to this thing at all. I was thinking at first maybe Mudsdale can switch in, but it still does take a lot. My Primarina is my best switch in here, because, you know, if he wants to go ahead and Strange Steam me, it only does about, I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think it did about like 50 to 60%. Calculating right here, trying to figure out what to go into. I think Melody is my only switch in here, and it is my Choice Specs Melody, so I really need to take care of this thing. I don't want it taking a lot of damage. Thankfully I did get rid of rocks on our side of the field, so we don't have to worry about that unnecessary little 6% that we're taking. And you guys can see I'm taking my time here, because I'm actually calculating which one's better to go into, whether it's my Troy, whether it's my Melody. Nevertheless though, I do choose my Melody to be my switch in here, so I'm gonna go ahead and bring that thing in here. Beautiful Melody right here, and this Weezing is going to go for the Sludge Wave, so actually predicting me to do that, and it hits me and it crits, and thanks to Sandstorm I am dead. So that crit really sucked. You know, I did calc Sludge Wave and I think it did 60 to 70% if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, but that crit was so unfortunate. You know, getting rid of such a big hitter on my side of the field is very unfortunate for us. And here I'm kind of raging. I'm kind of like tilted. I'm kind of mad right here. I'm kind of like, man, I should just gone into Troy. Troy would have eaten 2 of those, but it's all good, guys. You know, you live and you learn, like I say. Here I'm just gonna go for the Heavy Slam, regardless of him wanting to switch in Orbeetle. It is getting weakened down pretty much, and that's what I'm thinking he's gonna do here. I'm thinking he's gonna go ahead and bring in his Orbeetle, but he actually goes for Strange Steam and misses, so we get a little bit of justice back in our side, and then we hit him with a big Heavy Slam on our side. But that does about 50%, so I calc and I see he's about max HP, so I'm thinking maybe he's max HP max. I realized he wasn't max HP max defense, so he had to be max HP, like some kind of specially defensive or maybe even offensive. He wasn't too offensive, since that crit from the Sludge Wave showed that. So at this point I'm thinking he's kind of specially defensive, but here I'm just gonna go into I'm gonna go ahead and eat this Strange Steam, sorry guys, and then get my defense raised, and I'm gonna go ahead and knock this thing out in return with a Heavy Slam. So Mudsdale's been putting in kind of a lot of work. You know, last week he picked up 2 kills, and then this week he's gonna pick up another one. So get a little bit of leftovers recovery, as we are at +1 defense. And I'm looking at this game, guys, and I'm thinking, you know what, my Mudsdale and my Hitmontop are going to be the way I got to win this game. Very defensive. I need to stay alive is the most important thing. And it's going to be very hard. So he's going to go ahead and go into his Vaporeon here. And Vaporeon, I just realized, is a huge threat for my team. Like, I have nothing to hit it super effectively, since my Primarina went down and my GMAX went down as well, which both had Energy Ball to hit this. So now I need to think about how low I need to get this thing. I need to get this thing in range of where Dragon Pole can knock it out with a +1 Dragon Dart, since we do live 1 Ice Beam from this thing if it's carrying it, or we do live a Scald as well. We have to dodge the Scald burn, so we can't get burned off a Scald. But here he's gonna go for the Ice Beam, and as you can see, we live, but he gets the freeze. So this really sucks, because I was already tilted about a couple things that day. So I was like hella mad at this point, just over the battle. Like, bro, how you get the freeze, how you get the crit, like I was so mad. But anyways, guys, he's gonna go ahead and knock us out with, I figure might as well let this thing get knocked out. You know, it was pretty important to checking things like his Excadrill, like his Tyranitar, and it's really my fault for just playing around with it too much. But here, guys, I'm like, damn, I only have Hitmontop and Dragapult left in this battle, and it's looking pretty grim for me, guys. The Orbeetle is pretty weakened. His Excadrill is still full. His Weezing is gone. His Tyranitar does have about, I think, like 30%, 40% left on him, and Excadrill is still at full. So here I figure my best bet is probably toxicking this thing and just trying to weaken it down as much as I can with close combats and the toxic damage. He can't stay in forever once he's toxic, so that was my idea behind clicking that button here. So we launched Toxic. Thankfully we hit, because if not I would have just thrown my switch across the room or something. And we go ahead and he actually makes a good play and goes for the wish. So here I'm like, ooh, this guy is gonna try to pass it into his Tyranitar for sure. I'm like, for sure he's gonna try to pass it into him. I'm clicking close combat. I'm knocking that Tyranitar or the Orbeetle on the switching, because maybe Orbeetle wants to get the wish and then try to do some more baton pass shenanigans, but he doesn't. He actually stays in. He eats the close combat very well, and he's actually gonna go for Scald here at -1 SPDEF. You guys are gonna see this does actually a lot of damage. We don't have too much SPDEF investment this week. We're mostly defensive, but he goes ahead and takes the poison damage, and I think he gets his wish back here as well, correct? But we're just gonna keep kicking close combat. Like I said, guys, eventually he's gonna have to switch out, as he does, and he's gonna go right into his Invader Zim here, which is his Orbeetle, and then he's gonna go ahead and get smacked up by the close combat, but not before he doesn't find out that we are Figgy Berry. So as you guys can see, Orbeetle still lives, man. This thing is so thick. This thing was so good against me, but luckily we do have the the Mach Punch, which is gonna go ahead and pick this Orbeetle off. So him on top picking up a kill here, which is good for him, because he's just dancing. He's loving life right now. He's knocking things out. So here, guys, I'm expecting him to go right back into his Vaporeon and then us to repeat that process, which I don't really mind, because like I said, I really want to set up on this Vaporeon. I could eat an Ice Beam with a little bit of damage, and then I can go ahead and Dragon Dance, and then I can clean it up with the rest of the Mons here with the Dragapult. So that's my win con. That's my whole ideology right now. That's what I'm trying to think. That's what I'm trying to do. So just trying to set myself up in that position. So here we're gonna go ahead and click fight, and then we're gonna go ahead and I'm calculating right now of whether Mach Punch will kill with a Chople Berry, because I was expecting him to be mostly Chople Berry. If he's not AV, since he has Stealth Rock, he's not Choice Scarf, he's not Banded, probably the next best option for him is to be Chople Berry. So I figured he probably has no speed investment, since I could see from the max Flutter by earlier that he was max HP. So here I'm going to click close combat, hoping that I outspeed, as I actually do, and luckily we kill him through the berry. So guys, we are making a slow but sure comeback. So now all he has left is that Vaporeon and the Excadrill, and then all we have left is this Hitmontop and the Dragapult. And like I said, guys, Dragapult could win the game for us. So here I'm thinking he just needs to go into his Vaporeon, sack this thing off, and then I get to set up right. But unfortunately he goes into this. I do say unfortunately, because I would have liked a little bit more chip off on the Vaporeon. It was about 80% or 90% if I'm not mistaken. But here I'm just going to click the Mach Punch, try to get off as much damage as I can on this thing. And he's actually going to go ahead and go for Earthquake and knock us out. That was a guaranteed knockout from the range that we were at, since he is Life Orb, as you guys just see right there. Yeah, so it was a for sure knockout. So those drops in in defense didn't really matter too much. So here I'm gonna go ahead and calc how much should I take from an Earthquake, and the weird thing is that I see that from the calc it's telling me I'm only gonna take about 60 to 79, I think was the max roll he could get on a Life Orb set that's adamant. So I'm thinking, alright guys, you know what, I'm just gonna have to set up the Dragon Dance right here, and I'm gonna have to pray for a crit on the Vaporeon, because that's really what we need. I can't afford to get up 2 Dragon Dances here, and we actually outspeed him, which is my fault, because I forgot about webs. If I would have known about webs, I could have gone for the Earthquake, for the Phantom Force here, and I could have knocked this thing out. I believe, if I'm not mistaken. But instead, we're going to take a huge earthquake, and thanks to Sandstorm, it's going to bring us down to about 6%. Here, I'm going to go ahead and just click Dragon Darts. I figure, you know what? Game's pretty much over. Unfortunately, I messed up. Actually, I don't know if Phantom Force killed from that range. I think it was out of range too. So I might have just needed to Dragon Dance this turn regardless. I can't really remember, guys. Sorry, the battle was about a week and a half ago. But we're going to go ahead and Dragon Darts and knock this thing out at the +1. We get the crit, which at the end of the day doesn't really matter. But he's going to go ahead and kill us off with Sandstorm damage. And he's going to take the 1-0. Vaporeon is going to laugh in my face because it's still alive. But guys, that is the whole battle. As you guys can see, this thing was super laggy the whole game. Super laggy, and I'm very sorry this thing was post-com, guys. I did not click record, so unfortunately my recording did not go through. But regardless, guys, super good game to MattOshea. You know, he really played well, definitely deserved the win. Those crits were a little bit unfortunate. I do feel that we could have won the game, but hey, you know, that's Pokemon. But regardless, guys, make sure to go check out my opponent. His link will be down in the description below. And also, if you guys did enjoy, make sure to leave a like and a subscribe if you guys are new. But guys, thank you guys so much for taking the time out of your day to watch this video, and hopefully we can bounce back next week against I believe we go against Nebris next week, so hopefully we can play better next week. But I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.